The turret lathe is used when the same series of lathe operations is required to produce identical pieces. In the hexagon turret, 6 different tools can be mounted and used one after the other. Additional tools can be mounted on the cross slide. With this arrangement, any number of identical workpieces can be put through the same series of operations. This typical turret lathe job requires 10 individual operations to produce finished pieces from 1 1/2 inch bar stock. All the operations are made with one setup. The job to be done, the tools to be used, and their order are specified as follows. The first of 6 operations with the hexagon turret, combination stop and center drill. 2, chamfer with a chamfer tool. 3, machine the outside diameter with a box tool. 4, drill a 31 32nd hole. 5, bore to .994 diameter using a sliding tool holder. 6, ream to 1 inch diameter with a floating reamer. On the cross slide, undercut with a grooving tool. Face and chamfer with a facing tool. Break corners with a file. Cut off with parting tool. To set up the machine to handle 1 1/2 bar stock, first remove the nose guard. Then the nose piece. The nose piece is removed so that the collet may be taken out and replaced by one for this particular job. Loosen the collet by tapping it with a lead hammer. The blueprint specifies the collet to be used. In this case, 1 1/2 inches. Before installing the new collet, be sure that the face of the spindle and other surfaces are wiped clean. Wipe the collet chuck. Place it on the spindle. Now reassemble the nose piece and nose guard. Select a bar of 1 1/2 inch cold rolled steel. Be sure to check it for size. Insert the rod into the safety tube at the rear of the machine. Push it through until it enters the spindle. Close and lock the clamp on the stock stand. Stock is fed into the machine by means of this feed collar and ratchet. Be sure that the set screws on the collar are tight. Also the lock nuts. The feed collar is operated by the bar stock feed lever. The forward stroke feeds the stock through the machine. In the rear position, the fingers are spread. This tightens the collet and clamps the stock in the spindle. Use the cross slide to move the turret carriage into position. Clamp the turret carriage. The first operation specified in the blueprint calls for the use of a combination stop and center drill. Install the center drill on station 1 of the hexagon turret. Index the turret to bring the tool into working position. Advance the stock stop until it is against the end of the work. Lock the turret ram. Adjust the stop screw for this turret station. The stock will always be fed out this distance. Tighten the set screw. Now back the ram to get ready for center drilling. Start the motor and set switch to forward position. When the clutch is engaged, the work will rotate in a counterclockwise direction. Spot the end of the stock with the drill. The next operation is to cut a starting chamfer for the box tool which is to follow. Rotate the turret to install the chamfering tool. Stop the spindle. Attach the flange tool holder to station 2 of the turret. Tap it against the turret face with a lead hammer. The pilot holds it in place. Then mount the chamfer tool in the holder. Start the spindle, index the turret, and advance the chamfering tool into the work. When the cut is completed, lock the turret ram and adjust the stop screw for station 2. rotate the turret into a convenient position to set up the next tool. A box turning tool is attached to station 3 of the hexagon turret. This is also called a roller turning tool. Index the turret to put the tool into cutting position. Set the speed by lowering the speed control lever and holding it until the correct speed is registered. Start the spindle and make a trial cut. To check the diameter, stop the spindle. Here, the tool must be adjusted to remove an additional 30 thousandths from the work. Turning the adjusting screw moves the cutting edge in towards the center. Take another trial cut and check again. The new reading, 1 inch and 250 thousandths, is correct. The stock is held to the cutting tool by the 2 guide rollers. To adjust the rollers to the work, turn the lock screw. Finger pressure against the rollers will just stop them from turning with the work. The cut can now be completed. Throw out the power feed. The cut measures 2 inches as specified by the blueprint. Now advance the tool to the full depth of the cut and set the stop on station 3 of the turret rack. Set up on turret station 4 for the drilling operation. A 31 32-second hole is to be drilled. A sleeve is used in mounting the taper shank drill. Be sure the clamp nut is tight. Index the turret and feed the drill to the work by hand. Power feed is used here also. Use plenty of coolant. Measure to be sure the depth is 2.5 inches as specified. Now advance the drill to the full depth of the cut and adjust the ram stop for the drilling operation. Operation number 5 is to true up the hole to 994 thousandths diameter. A sliding tool holder will hold a boring tool. Attach the sliding tool holder to station number 5 on the hexagon turret. Place a bushing in the holder and insert the boring tool with the cutting edge up. Tighten the clamping screws on both sides with an end wrench. Index the turret to line up the boring tool with the work and advance the tool to the full depth of the cut. Set the ram stop screw. Since the depth to be bored can be determined before starting the operation, the stop screw can be set before starting the cut. Withdraw the boring tool and set the feed. Rotating the hand wheel raises or lowers the boring tool. Make a trial cut. Check with a plug gauge. The hole is undersized and the depth of the cut must be increased. When the size is correct, place a clip on the dial to mark the setting. The hole must now be reamed to the 1-inch diameter. The tool to be used is a 1-inch reamer. First install the sleeve in the turret. Then the reamer, which is equipped with a floating holder. Turn down the nut by hand. Then tighten. A very slow speed is required for the reaming operation. Set the machine to the lowest speed. Start the spindle and guide the floating reamer into the hole. Feed the reamer in by hand to the full depth of the hole. Check the diameter of the hole with a plug gauge. Set the ram stop for this operation. This completes the setup of the turret. remaining operations will be done with a cross slide. The next operation, making the undercut, is done with a grooving tool.